What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, got some breaking news to share with you as of, a couple hours ago? It's about to get interesting in the WNBA because, as you all know, the deadline is tomorrow for the CBA. And guys, we not getting there. We are not getting there to an agreement, which means that negotiations are going to enter status quo territory. All right. The CBA deadline is tomorrow, January the 9th. And right now, there is no deal in place, no extension in place. Guys, this is not speculation. This is from Breanna Stewart, who talked about it. And this has been reported from everybody from Front Office Sports to ESPN to The Athletic. There is no deal. And there does not seem to be any extension. All right. So if you all don't know, let's just kind of recap real quick. So October the 31st was the deadline for the original CBA. Remember, the players opted out early, and the deadline was October the 31st. October 31st came, and basically at the last minute, the WNBA and the WNBPA, which is the Players Association, they agreed to have an extension. All right. So that extension was for November the 30th. All right. November the 30th comes, extension, another one. This time, January the 9th, which is Friday, which is tomorrow. And we've hit the time of the final, the final deadline. It's seemingly going to expire tomorrow with no extension expected. Apologies for the graphic. It should say first extension agreed to for November the 30th. Not second, because that was like the first extension. And then January 9th was the second extension. No third extension for the players. And this came out and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so big. I got to talk about it. Okay. So that's sort of where we are right now. And with the date tomorrow here, both sides are signaling the same thing. There will not be a third extension to the CBA. Now, if you all are wondering, okay, what in the world happens if there is no deal reached? Well, it's a phase called status quo that comes into effect. Status quo basically means that the current rules technically stay in place. All right. So the current CBA rules will stay in place and everybody will operate as is. Players will still have access to facilities. Medical benefits will still continue. But even though they will be operating under basically the current CBA, even though they won't really be under the CBA, there is no active CBA, which means that anything can happen, meaning the union can strike at any time. Now, if you all don't remember, well, about a month ago, back in December, the players in the WNBA, they already voted to authorize a strike if necessary. So 93% of players back in December, they participated in a strike authorization vote. And 98% of those players voted yes. If the Players Association higher ups, like the president and the vice presidents and the leadership, if the leadership decides that they want to strike, the players, 98% of them have said yes. The vote gave the union leadership the authority to call a strike at any time without advance notice. And here's the deal. That leverage is finally going to possibly be used if they want it to be used. Now, here's the deal. Because with no extension, the players at any moment can call a strike. At any moment. Under the current CBA, there's a process in order for a strike to possibly happen. Come tomorrow, come the 9th, at any time, the union leadership can call a strike. Because leverage is really in the players' hands. Now, if you all are like, no, Quita, that can't be true, they're going to come to some sort of agreement or some sort of extension by tomorrow. Well, here's what Breanna Stewart said. Breanna Stewart said, quote, "We are not coming to an agreement by tomorrow. I can tell you that. We're just going to continue to negotiate in good faith." That's what Breanna Stewart said. She also said, quote, "We are all understanding where you are at. It's not something that we're going to do right this second, but being able to have that in our back pocket," when she was talking about a possible strike. So straight from Breanna Stewart, there's no agreement coming tomorrow. All right? There is no agreement coming. And that they're going to talk in good faith. Now, what are they talking about? What are the players and the league going back and forth about? Well, largely, it's about rev share. Because at the end of the day, everything comes down to the money. So now I looked through all the articles that talked about the proposals and all that good stuff. And here is my opinion on what they basically all said. The union is proposing 30% of revenue, of gross revenue, going to the players. 30% of league revenue going to the players. With a salary cap of roughly $10 million or so for each team. And the key thing that the players want is they want to be paid before the WNBA pays their expenses. That's what they want. Now, the league, on the other hand, they're proposing a system where the players, or at least the latest proposal that they sent over, the latest proposal that they sent over, at least that we know about, that was reported about, is 50% of league net revenue. There's a difference between gross and net, guys. All right, gross is everything that was made. Net is everything minus the various expenses you got. All right. Now, the league is proposing 50% of net revenue, or roughly 50% of net revenue for the league, which, once you take out all the expenses that the league has, goes to roughly 15% of total league revenue. All right, so that 50% looks amazing, but remember, that's net. All right? That really does go to around 15% of total league revenue. That is not a small gap. That's a pretty big gap between roughly 15% and roughly 30% that the players want. That is a fundamental dispute on how players should be paid. Okay? The players are like, you know what? No, don't pay us last. No, you basically pay us at the same, you basically pay us first, basically. That's what the players basically want. And the league is like, no, we have all these expenses, and if we paid y'all what y'all want to get paid, we will lose millions and millions of dollars each season. And so this is where we hit an impasse between what the players want and what the league wants. Right? According to a report by CNN, the league says if they paid the players roughly 30% of gross league salary or league revenue, that would result in $700 million in losses for the WNBA for the duration of the CBA. So the league is like, hey, players, if y'all got what y'all wanted, we would lose $700 million. Is that true? Don't know, because none of us can see the books for the WNBA. Right? There's even a lot of stuff that the players themselves can't see about the league and their expenses and all that good stuff. All right? So that's sort of where we are. There is a huge discrepancy between the players and the league. And another dispute is the union wants expansion fees to count in league revenue. And the league is basically saying, no, expansion fees is not considered league revenue. So that's another smallish thing that they are disputing against. Yes. Hey, I was a big fan of The Rock growing up. And whenever I have an opportunity to put emphasis on something, the millions and millions. Okay? Sorry, y'all. I just got off of work. And I was like, crap, I have to put together some sort of presentation to share with y'all, because a lot of stuff has happened and I wanted to make sure that I did a stream tonight. Of course, we're going to dive into it a little bit more tomorrow, but I wanted to make sure as everything is happening, I wanted to get y'all the breaking news. So apologies for being a little bit rambly. I tried my best to get this stream up as quickly as I possibly could. All right, we're gonna keep going with some more quotes from players, but I do want to get you all's reaction to the side-by-side of the union proposal that they want and the latest thing that the league sent over. All right. And remember, a thing to remember, guys, is that the original CBA was actually set to run through 2027. And remember last year, or is it 2 years ago? Because I think it happened in 2024, that the players opted out early. All right, so the original deal was supposed to last until 2027. They opted out early, and that's how we've gotten on this current saga that we are on right now, because the players are like, you know what? We want our money. Yeah. Pay us what you owe us, WNBA. And the league is like, no, we can't pay you what you want because we're going to lose all this money. And so, yeah. What do you all have to say? R. Walden says, for any business, you have to pay all your needs/resources to do business. Without players, there is no business. Well, facts. Yeah. T says, thanks for giving us this information. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't. But that's where we are. That is where we are. Michelle says, Quita, expansion fees have always been off limits for most leagues. Most times it's to address the dilution in media rights revenue. Okay. And Nancy says they might agree if it included the expansion fees and other things like the broadcast deal that owners pay into the league. But right now, they keep that extra. Mike says we're in the talk to my lawyer stage of negotiation. I mean, well, if you look at what Breanna Stewart had to say, again, here's what Stewie said. She said, we're not coming to an agreement by tomorrow. I can tell you that. We're just going to continue to negotiate in good faith. All right. Kelsey Plum says, it doesn't necessarily mean a lockout. It doesn't necessarily mean a strike. It's probably more of a status quo thing and negotiate in good faith. So the players, they're talking a good game. Like, hey, we're in this. We're talking. We're trying to make some stuff happen, right? It doesn't sound like the players are scorched earth, or at least what Kelsey and Stewie have had to say. And then we also got a longer quote from Stewie saying, quote, we just have to get players, owners, everybody in the same room. Obviously, you have the PA side, then you have the W side, but you also want the owners, labor relations committee, and the union executive committee, those people having these conversations, because sometimes it gets a little bit too finicky about wording and this and that. While we both are seeming like we're very far apart, there is a place where we can come and find mutual ground. So that's where Stewie is, and that seems to be where the players are. Hey, it would be nice to get everybody in the same room. Here's the thing. There is a large amount of players in one place right now. Do y'all know where that one place is? The WNBA right now, the WNBA leadership, Kathy Engelbert and everybody else who's in the CBA negotiations, they can hop on a plane right now and talk to about 40 plus active WNBA players. Actually, 50 plus active WNBA players right now. They can hop on a plane. Remember, the WNBA has 156 players maximum that can, 12 players, 13 teams. Right? Yeah, 156 maximum players that can, if every team had 12 players and whatnot. Anyway, there's 50 plus of them right now in one spot. You want to know what spot that is? Unrivaled. They can get on a plane right now, and go to Miami, Florida. Okay? They can go right now and talk in person. In person. Now, guys, if y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really would help the channel out a whole lot. We got 53 likes so far. Can we get it to 150? That would be absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. We got 200 people on the stream. Yeah, if y'all could, please make sure to hit that like button. Again, really does help the channel out a whole lot. All right? And if y'all want more impromptu live streams like this, just let me know. Just let me know. I was able to actually do this stream because I was working from home. Otherwise, I don't think I still would have got home by now. So luckily for me, I decided to work from home and not come in the office. All right. Yep. The union president and vice president are in Miami now. R. Walden says, wonder if Unrivaled could spin up a fall season. I'm sure they're probably thinking about it. Well, not a fall season, more like a summer season. They may be thinking about it. Possibly. All right, let's hear what you all have to say. Luminera says, let the W burn. Fans stand by the players. That corrupt league isn't the only place players can go. We fans will follow. Wow. Okay. Poll. Impromptu poll, which, how many of y'all are in agreement? Hey, let the W burn. Hey, the players should get exactly what they want. And hey, if a season doesn't happen next year, a season just doesn't happen. Where y'all at? Where are you all at with that? Let me know. I'm very curious to hear your. I mean, honestly, I think they're gonna meet in the middle, right? I don't think it's gonna be 15% of gross revenue. I think it's probably gonna be closer to like 20%. Like they're probably gonna meet somewhere in the middle, like 20 to 23% that they're probably gonna agree to. I would assume, right? Because in negotiations, no one side gets everything that they want. So I don't think the players are gonna get the 30% that they want. Again, let's show the graphic. So I don't think the union is gonna get 30%. I don't think the WNBA is gonna get the union to agree to 15%. I feel like we're probably going to enter the 20% realm. And both sides will be slightly unhappy, but hopefully a deal happens. I, for one, love the WNBA. I would love to see the league happen. However, if the league doesn't happen, I mean, the players at the top will be totally fine. It'll be the players at the bottom that we have to sort of like think about, and hopefully another sort of temporary league can kind of pop up and can sustain some of the lower tier players, like the players who are like 7 to 12 on the roster. All right. B. Will says, the players are the product. The cost of production is an expense. Therefore, the players' salaries is an expense. You don't pay for expenses out of profit. You pay that out of revenue. All right? All right. I mean, because, the expenses of running the WNBA, I mean, it makes sense that it would include the players because, again, if you don't have the players, why are you paying for, all the other expenses you need, right? Tisha says, the reason you want a percentage of gross instead of nets is because they will just make up expenses to have less net to share. Well, I mean, facts, Tisha. Yeah, that they could absolutely do that. And especially since no one, including the players, have a full look at league's expenses. Yeah, they could just make up expenses to have less net to share. That's possible. Yeah. J-Dub says the players are thinking about generational wealth long term. The owners want the players to play for pennies. Well, hey, we're at an impasse right now. Daniel says, try it for 1 year, make adjustments next year. I don't think they would agree to a 1 year CBA. That would be nice. It would be nice to just say, okay, let's just make some sort of agreement that no one's totally happy with. We do it for 1 year, and we kick the can down the road next year, and we'll discuss more. I'm sure neither side really wants that. Because let's say next season, in this year, in 2026, let's just say it's a crazy record-breaking year again when it comes to league revenue, league attendance, all that good stuff. Then that would benefit the players. And the league would be upset, like, we just agreed to a 1 year deal. Now they want even more, Or let's just say if next year is a downturn year for players or for the league, where maybe attendance goes down, league revenue goes down, then the players would be like, man, I wish we didn't do the 1 year deal, because then the league would be like, nah, y'all worth less because of the numbers, right? And so both sides would take a huge risk if they did do a possible 1-year deal, which I don't think is going to happen. I think we're probably going to see whenever a deal is agreed to, it's probably going to be in around the 5 to 7 year range. Michelle says, Quita, the WNBPA wants the owners to eat an elephant in one day, where I think the owners would want to stretch it over more than one CBA to make sure the league remains healthy. Well, yes, that's basically what the league is saying that, hey, if we did what y'all want, we would lose $700 million over the span of the deal. I'm sure quite a few people are probably saying that. Nancy is responding to Michelle's comment about the elephant eating in one day, saying the league has already negotiated across 30 years of CBAs. This is now the moment. If they didn't plan ahead or just thought they could continue to hold players over the barrel, they're wrong. Well, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Nancy's like, strike. Hey, we'll see what the players do. We'll see. Tisha says, also talked to Michelle, says, that elephant has been in the room for over 20 years. They have to eat it now while they have the teeth, popularity, and momentum. Well, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you were able to tune in. Yeah, I know it's not going live early every morning. It's not the best time for everybody, so hopefully this is helpful for y'all. And Michelle says you can't go on gross. The fixed expenses of franchises and the WNBA have to be accounted, and most probably far more substantial than the NBA. Those are fixed costs. Yes, there are, absolutely. Michelle, you're right. There are some fixed costs that the league has to account for. And yes, it makes sense that the league wants to pay the players based off of the net instead of based off of gross. It makes sense. But also, it makes sense for the players to say, you know what? No, you shouldn't pay expenses before us because we are the biggest expense. We are the most important expense. The expenses that you have on operating all these the various things that the league needs in terms of medical benefits and the actual, like, the funding of the arenas and all that good stuff. Yes, the players are probably saying, hey, yes, y'all have a lot of fixed expenses, but if you don't have us, what's the point of all the expenses? The expenses don't matter if you don't have us. And so from both sides, I get why the players are saying, hey, you better pay us first. Hey, you better pay us off of gross, not net. And I understand why the league is like, no, we want to pay you off of net. Like I feel like I understand why the players are saying what they're saying, but we'll see who wins out. I mean, at the end of the day, in real negotiations, no side totally wins out. So, Con Lenny says, from the Hub today, the Harvard women's basketball team is celebrating their one-of-a-kind blend of academic and athletic excellence with their exclusive Nerds jerseys this Saturday. That's awesome. I got to check that out. Okay. Caitlin Clark Soldier 22 says, America just wants to see Caitlin Clark hoop. Sign the deal. I mean, here's the thing. If the only person you care about is Caitlin Clark, wouldn't you want her to get paid more money? Right? So wouldn't you want her to get the maximum amount of money that she deserves in a WNBA? Like, so shouldn't they not sign it if Caitlin Clark is your most important focus? Don't you want her to maximize her revenue? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Rodan says they should use the players on contract and just get more players that are not in the union. Oh, so like basically like cross the picket line with some brand new players and say, you know what? For 1 year, we're gonna invite all these other players to join the WNBA and make some stuff happen. I don't think it'll actually work because again, the WNBA, they're not producing products where it's like, oh, you can just cross, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it was like a manufacturing company, then, you know, I could see the company saying, you know what, we're gonna hire all these other workers to come in and produce the widgets, right? The WNBA is the product is the players, and so you can't really. I think it's a lot harder to do that because who you gonna pick up? Who are you gonna pick up to be like, okay, y'all just come on in here, and the fans won't just watch anything, right? You won't just sell tickets just based off of anything. Like, people want to see the best players in the world, and the best players in the world are the current WNBA players, right? So, yeah. Yeah. April says poor college seniors if there's a lockout or strike. Yeah, yeah, yes. We've talked about it before. Strikes have happened in America when it came to sports. Right? Hockey has had labor disputes. Baseball has had labor disputes. The NBA has had labor disputes. Like it's a thing. Football's had labor disputes. Tisha is responding to is responding about the strike breakers and says those would be strike breakers, and if they did that, those players would never be respected on any future team. Literally, nobody would want to play with a strike breaker. I mean, Tisha has a point. Tisha has a point. I've seen videos of people who are got hired during a strike, and then everyone's saying like shame, 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 shame. Like yeah, I do think that would be difficult for those players who agreed to do that. Michelle says, Quita, I work for an accountant I work as an accountant I work in accounting. For sure, the owners want to go based on profit if they want to avoid the bankruptcy. The revenue has nothing to do with popularity and the moment. Again, yes. And I totally understand why the league would say, you know what, we want to go off of net revenue and not total revenue. Like it makes sense from a business standpoint for them to say that. It absolutely makes sense. But also, I get why the players are saying, hey, we don't care about that because we are the biggest product. We are the most important thing that you all are paying. If you don't pay us, you have nothing. And that's true. That is very much true. Mike says you can speculate in this chat, but realize y'all are not economists and are in the WNBA financial books because they will not disclose them. Yeah. again, at the end of the day, we're all flying blind here, even the players, because the players don't even get to see the full books that the WNBA has. No one totally knows everything that the WNBA is working with. And we probably never will. We probably never will. Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, what percentage stage of the league does the NBA own? I forgot to, actually. 42%. There we go. 42% is owned by the NBA. The other, and then you have the rest owned by the WNBA and a group of private investors. All right. So 42% NBA, 42% WNBA, of which some are owners of NBA teams, and 16% by a group of private investors from 2022. Thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see. Well, I think that's about it. I feel like we kind of covered just about everything. We covered just about everything there is to cover. Also, we did hear from Chelsea Gray as well. And I want to pull up what she said. I don't have a graphic for it, but I do have her quote. Chelsea Gray says that's what negotiating is. Quote, there are compromises on both ends. There are some things that we're not willing to compromise on. So there's a standard that we won't go below. And so that means that we're having to wait a little longer to not go below our standard. Then that's what it is. We also heard from Paige Beckers, who said, quote, there are some things we just won't budge on, and we think that we should stand firm in. And then there are things that we think we can meet halfway on. So, with that being said, we'll see what happens. But here's the deal. You can't ignore the timing of this entire thing. Right? Here's the deal. Many of the players who are in leadership in the WNBA, WNBPA, I should say, they are at Unrivaled right now. Right? When we look at the leadership, we see Kelsey Plum, who's the first vice president. She's in Unrivaled. Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart, they're both vice presidents in the CBA or in the Players Association. They're in Unrivaled, and a lot of a good amount of the player representatives are in Unrivaled as well. Rachel Banham, Arike Gumbuwale, Marina Mabry, all right, Timmy Fagbenle, right, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Chelsea Gray, Azare Stevens, right. Those players are in Unrivaled. And so that's a lot of leadership when it comes to player representatives and the overall leadership of the WNBPA. And so, that's a pretty interesting thing to note, that many of these players that are leading negotiations are currently in Miami for Unrivaled. Also, a thing to note is that the WNBPA just announced a players hub a global players hub that gives players access to training facilities regardless of league operations. And guys, that matters. That matters because, again, if an agreement does not come, it reduces pressure to rush into a deal that does not meet the players' standards. All right? So that's kind of where we are. So where do we go tomorrow? Well, there is no immediate strike expected for the players. If it is, then the players, the leadership of the WNBPA can call it whenever they want after tomorrow, which is when the current CBA extension is officially over, January 9th. And so negotiations will continue, but they will continue without a contract. And that means that any major move coming from either side could come without warning. The WNBA has never missed a game due to a work stoppage. Never. In its nearly 30 years have they missed a game. But this feels like a different time. This feels like a different time. The David Stern era, where he was able to get the players to agree to a deal even though they didn't really want to. That's over, right? That's over. The players have way more power than they ever have before. And with that, my camera has expired for the day, and I bid you adieu. Oh wait. We got another super chat. Brandon says, so right off the top, that's 42% gone. Yes. All right. With that, I'll see y'all later. I think maybe this camera expiring thing is probably a good thing. It keeps my stream short. Anyway, I'll see y'all the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.